Окей, супер. Ну, у тебя замечательная возможность, наверное, в течение сегодняшнего вечера буду знать, что такое Unity, что это за платформа, чем ребята занимаются, потому что этому будет посвящено следующие 2 часа. Собственно, на этом все. Мы как компания, как коллеги, ребят, которых сейчас будут слушать, безумно рады тому, что они согласились и нашли время выступить, и безумно рады тому, что у вас получилось прийти сегодня. Дальше слово Диме. Я 3
минуты цикла закончились, и мы начинаем нашу Unity маршрутку, пока у нас есть еще сидячие места. У нас не будет шансона, да, за проезд передавать пока не надо.
Привыкли.
Я никак не мог привыкнуть в Одессе. Начнет наш рассказ о нас, о том, что такое Unity, наш руководитель команды Toolsmith, в которой я работаю, Каспер. Он расскажет много об истории компании. Здесь в Одессе работают 3 команды. Команда SDD, команда Toolsmith и команда STE. Что эти команды себя представляют, кто в них работает, вам расскажут люди, которыми руководят. Начнет Каспер, потом будет Элвис и Агнешка. Элвис возглавляет команду эстетов, Агнешка STE и Каспер у нас Кузнецов Toolsmith. Прошу приветствовать Каспер.
Alright, first of all, welcome. I'm very happy to see so many show up tonight. It's always very exciting to travel around and meet people and tell about what we do at Unity. So I'm very happy about seeing so many show up. First of all, I would like to know how many of you know Unity? Do you know what Unity is? The product, the company, anything? Some of you, okay. That's good. What about how many of you work with either programming or testing? All right, quite a few. That's good. So some of you know about these things. That's good because that's not what I will tell you about now. Instead, I will tell you some things about Unity that you may not know, and some things that I'm not even sure all of our guys know about it. But I'll basically go back and tell you a bit about how it all started. I will tell you about how we ended up in Odessa, and then I will tell you about our QA team organization and what it is we're trying to do with that. So yeah, the theme for tonight will be quality and how we try to build that into Unity. And there will be 3 talks. So Agnieszka, Elvis and I will tell you about the teams. Then we will have a talk about Unity test tools, which we just released back in December, and it has been a massive success, pretty impressive. And then we will finish it off by talking about performance testing, where we do some pretty cool stuff. So that's what's going to happen. But let's start off by turning time back a bit to 2005. So this is actually where Unity started. It was a games company. It was called Over the Edge Entertainment. The founders were working on a game. It got published. A lot of people have heard about it, but it's out there still. You can get it. What the founders realized was that they were actually much more interested in the technology behind making games. Game dev, it was fun, but it wasn't really what they were passionate about. And the tools that they created to make this game, it had some pretty groundbreaking ideas about making things component-based, very data-oriented. You could do quite a lot of stuff without extensive programming knowledge. And they actually figured out that maybe this is what we should be working on. They finished the game. It went out there. You can still get it. Those are the guys that then started working on Unity, what eventually became the platform that we have today. The 3 founders are David, Joachim, and Nicholas. And actually, David and Joachim are still with us today. David is the CEO. He's working from San Francisco. Joachim is the CTO, and is also leading development in Copenhagen, so driving the technical direction of everything we do. And it's very exciting to still have them with us almost 10 years after we started out doing this. Quite a few things have happened since then. This is what the initial release of Unity looked like. So I think if you're using Unity today, you still see similarities, but it was somewhat simpler back then. But this is what it looked like. Today we've grown quite a bit. This picture is taken from an event that we do 2 times a year called Hack Week, where we take our normal schedules and forget all about it for a week. Then we fly our entire R&D team to Copenhagen, and then we spend a couple of hours Monday morning figuring out what would be cool to do for a week, and then we do that instead. At the end of the week we have presentations, and then we look at the different ideas and the different projects, and we figure out if there is something that we should end up putting in the product. The projects that people are working on, they can decide for themselves. It doesn't have to be anything that we end up shipping anywhere. It's pretty cool. It's a really good way of getting a lot of different people from a lot of different places to work together. I'll get back to that later, because Unity is very special in the way that we work together and how spread out we are all over the world. So Hack Weeks are great for collaborations. It's great for innovation and for just hanging out, being together, and doing something else than what we normally do. And this is actually only the R&D team. We have a support team, we have field engineers, we have sales people, we have management. They're not here for this building. It's only R&D. And it's taken, if I remember correctly, at the backyard at our Copenhagen office.
It's like half of the company.
I think it's less than half the company now. Yes.
It's like 1/3.
Yes. So what has happened to the product? I guess you can still see similarities to the photo I showed you before of the first release, but it has evolved quite a bit. This is from a tech demo that we did last year, and Unity today is quite advanced. If you look at the quality of things that are being made with Unity today, it's really impressive what we have done in quite a short amount of time. So it has also evolved a bit in other directions. Today we are not just making a tool where you can create a game. We are also creating a tool where you can get your game out on pretty much any platform out there. I think we are over 20 platforms today. So you can use our tool, you can make your game or your content in the editor, and you can basically publish it to what you want. iOS, Android, Windows Phone, consoles. And best of all, you can get started making games in a free version of Unity, and then you can basically buy plugins for platforms if you need that. So getting started with Unity and making games, everyone can do that. And then, if you want to, you can buy additional plugins to make your game available where it makes sense to you. The asset store has been a huge success. I guess you all know the App Store, for example, you have on iPhone and iPads. We have something similar for Unity, so it's integrated into our game editor. You can go there and you can basically find any asset you can imagine for building games. Animation assets, sounds, scripts, if you're not into programming. It can all be found there. Much of it is free, and there are paid assets as well. So it's really, really cool, and it allows people, and sometimes very, very few people, to create mind-blowing things. It's very impressive to see what our users and customers are able to do with this today. Then a new thing that we started doing, I think it's not too many months ago, like half a year ago, something like that, is game publishing. So actually finding interesting games and getting them out on platforms, actually driving that. The latest one, Archangel, came out on iOS and Android about a month ago, making it quite popular. So we are also entering game publishing a bit. It's not something that the R&D team is directly involved in. It's a different division of Unity. So we're still not a game development studio. That's not the idea. We're making the tech where you can make the games, but then we have all these other cool, funny, interesting things that we do because we just think it's the right thing to do. What's fun and what's good and what we like. So another thing we do is Unite, which is it used to be an annual event where all the developers meet up, and then we have a conference. So there are talks, there are workshops, so then our customers can attend, and then it's a few days of really intensive Unity training and attending talks and sessions. It's really cool. Because we have grown a lot in the past few years, we have actually changed it a bit. So I can't even remember, it was multiple events last year, 5 events or something. 7 events. Yeah, so we have Unite events pretty much all over the world at different periods of time. So that's pretty cool. I attended the one, I think everyone here attended the one we did 2 years ago in Amsterdam, in Netherlands, and it's just cool. I mean, being together with your friends and colleagues and actually being out there meeting customers, attending talks, seeing what our users are doing with this, learning something about Unity and how it's being used. It's a really nice event to attend. Yes, so where is Unity? What's really interesting is that basically from day one, Unity has been everywhere. We've always hired the best people wherever we can find them. So we have people that work from home every day. We opened the office in Odessa 1.5 years ago. I think we have 11 people working here now, right? So that's an office. We have an office in Copenhagen. We have an office in San Francisco. But as I said, we also have people that are just one person working from somewhere. Until recently, we had one guy in Minsk, for example. Now we have 2. So that is basically how we have done. Found the best people and hired them wherever we could find them. I think the most recent offices are probably the ones in China, Singapore, and also some of the North American ones. We also have offices in Canada now that are also pretty new. So it's kind of interesting, and it also means that we are basically connected to each other all of the time. We use Skype a lot. We use applications where we can do distributed pair programming, where we can do distributed code reviews. Being completely spread out and not being able to just walk to your colleague's desk has been something that we've had to deal with from day one. And that was actually one of the things when I joined Unity 2 years ago that I really wanted to experience and see how would this work. How does it actually work in a company where this is something we need to do? So the QA team, when I joined Unity 2 years ago, there was just one QA team, and everyone did sort of everything. That has changed quite a bit. The QA director, Thomas, and I joined the same day. I joined as QA lead. And we started out pretty fast organizing the team into more specialized groups. Started looking into where we would want to grow. So one consequence of that was starting an office here in Odessa. And this is basically where we are right now. So we have Thomas, who is directing everything. Recently he also started looking into our support teams, helping them. And then we have team leads. And the leads are responsible. We have one lead for our test engineers, and that's actually not true because Agnieszka joined recently as lead for the test engineers. Then we have Elvis, who is leading the test developers, or software development engineers and tests, as we call them. I am leading the toolsmith team, so we are working on a lot of infrastructure, automation, ways of doing testing in smart, intelligent ways. And then we have student workers. The student workers are mainly working with customers, so customers find a problem in Unity, if they find bugs, then they can submit it to our bug reporting infrastructure, and then the student workers will help them out. So it's a good position to both get in touch with our customers, but also to sort of learn what is it our customers are doing, what are they struggling with, and to learn about Unity, how does everything work. And it's been quite successful. It's interesting because the student worker program has also been a great way to hire really good people. We've gotten quite a few, both test engineers and test developers from that program, so it's been a huge success. The toolsmith team, I will tell you a bit more about that, and then Elvis and Agnieszka will tell you about their teams. So right now I'm leading it. And I have been since I joined Unity. I was the first one on the team, so when I joined Unity, I had to build the team from ground up. Today we have 6 engineers working, 7 including me. We are 2 in Denmark, me and Tome, from Poland. Then we have one guy, Zach, who is sitting in Helsinki in Finland. And then we have 4 engineers in Odessa in Ukraine. Yes, and these are the guys. So me and Tomek, we are sitting in Copenhagen, and then up here in Odessa, and then we have Zachary in Helsinki. And some of the things we have been working on in the past year, first of all, getting a collaboration with Google going. We have all these platforms that you can publish your games on, and for example on Android, Google, they are releasing new versions completely independently of when we ship new versions of Unity. So it's pretty critical to us that when a new version of Android is being released, then Unity content works on it. If one of our customers are releasing a game on Android, then they want to be sure that if Google sends out an update, then the game will still work. So we have been designing a test suite that we are sharing with Google, so they are running it internally for regression testing. So when they are making new versions of Android, they can test against that suite, and then their engineers and our engineers can work on fixing problems before they reach our customers. So that is pretty cool, and it has been a huge success, and we have found bugs, and we have fixed bugs before they did any harm. So that's really good. Unity test tools. I think in many places in game development today, testing is. I don't really think that there are that good tools to do it, and that's something that we have wanted to change for a long time, and something we have been working on in the past. And back in December, we released the first version of a set of test tools that you can actually use to test games. It has been a huge success, and if you want to try it out, they're free. So you can download Unity free. You can go to the asset store, and then for free you can get the test tools and try them out. Right now, it's actually 2 different things. It's unit tests for unit tests, and it's for integration tests. And yes, check it out if you didn't do so. It's pretty cool. Then we've also been working a lot on automated performance regression testing. I will not tell you about that because Zachary and Jan will do that in a bit. Code coverage. Intelligent test execution. So I know many companies have like an everything everywhere approach to automated testing. So you write automated tests and then you just write them everywhere and all the time. We have so many tests. We have both low-level tests and we have high-level tests that running everything everywhere is simply not feasible for us. So we need to be smart about when something in the Unity code base is changing, where are we actually executing tests? And we can do a lot of tooling to help us with that, and we are doing that. Code coverage, we use that. One example could be specifically for reducing the size of our test suites. Sometimes we have big test suites. We can basically measure exactly what they cover. If we can remove half of a test suite and get the same coverage, maybe that's worth doing. So we have some pretty cool tools to be smart about testing and to make really good decisions and save a lot of time on the testing that we do. So that's interesting to be working on. Then bug reporting infrastructure. When someone discovers a problem in Unity, they can report bugs. But we've been working quite a lot on making it more visible to our users what happens when a bug is reported, what is going on, and also making it nice and easy for our developers to work with bug reports, to reproduce them and ultimately fix problems in Unity fast and easy. And then we spent a lot of time on finding good ways to do automated platform testing. I think we actually don't have that many test cases, manual test cases or automated test cases, but because Unity is this tool where you can make games, you can make content, and then you can build it to many platforms. If you look at the amount of configurations that we have, if you try to make like a testing matrix, it completely explodes. It's not possible. The complexity is mind-blowing. So we need to be really smart about what we test and how we get good coverage with the efforts that we have. We spend quite a lot of time on that. Yeah, and we do much more than that, but that's what I will tell you now. And then I think we will take over and tell you a bit about the test developers.
Hello everyone. I didn't practice my Ukrainian and Russian too much before coming here, so I have to do this in English too. I am Elvis. I am the lead for the SD team, and we are also spread around in different countries. Me and Marek over there, we work from Denmark, and Andrei, Ilya, Vitaly, and Elena, we work here in Siklum, and then we have Dennis in Silicon Valley in the United States. So, as this very complicated name, software development engineering test implies, we are all software developers, but with real passion for testing. We like breaking software. Some people like making it, we like to break it as much as possible. And this, as most of you who work as testers know, can be quite challenging sometimes. And especially for us with such a complex piece of software that we need to test. And one thing that Kasper didn't mention is that Unity is used by more than 2.5 million people now, I think. So that's a lot of users that we want to make sure can use this product on a daily basis. We want to make sure our users succeed and they can publish their games to all the different platforms we support, and testing that can be a real challenge. And I'm gonna give you a bit of a more concrete example about this challenge we're facing. So we're doing testing using about 10 different test frameworks. Almost all of them are in-house frameworks built by the toolsmiths. They are based on different technologies like NUnit or Unit-S++, Sikuli, Selenium, other technologies for testing. and we have our own interfacing there in our product and these frameworks. And in all of these different kinds of frameworks, we have thousands of tests written, and we do development on multiple branches. And right now, with the incredible number of features being worked on for the future versions of the software, we are working in more than 100 development branches in parallel, which get merged and integrated with each other. And then we have 15-20 platforms that we can run these tests on, and take all of that and multiply them, and you get hundreds of thousands of different test points that are executed every single day in our build farm. And basically we have to make sure that these tests are up to date, they're stable, that this that it's scalable. At some point you hit like a limit on what you can run and how much you can do, and yeah, we need to optimize all the time and find different ways of managing to run all these tests everywhere for everyone to make sure that we don't break the software. I'm not gonna go into any specific technical details, but you can come and ask me more about all the different test automation that we do at Unity after the presentation. Our role at Unity is based on collaboration. I don't think we'll ever be able to succeed like 7 people. It's quite a small team for 90-something developers in R&D that basically need to support all this test automation effort. And that means that we work very closely with developers. We each have assigned different areas of the product, and we are in constant communication with developers working on those areas, and we always know in what stage of future development they are in and what kind of testing needs they have, and we help them figure out where to write the different tests that they need. We help them maintain these tests. We help them by writing some of the tests ourselves. We help them investigate test failure when they get a little bit tricky, because we are the framework experts, so we can help them out sometimes. And then we collaborate closely with toolsmiths, because they are the ones creating and maintaining the frameworks, and sometimes, like I said, we need to make them faster, scalable, and it's a lot of thinking and effort that goes into how we run these tests everywhere, every day, so that we can keep up with the amount of work that has to go through the build farm all the time. And of course we collaborate with the test engineers, which is the other component of the QA department at Unity. They know all about the features, the functionality that a feature is supposed to have, and they do all the manual testing, but sometimes they require some help from us when it comes to some features that are heavily based on programming. So if they require a lot of coding to test something, then they come to us. And it's all a bit of a crazy communication cycle happening in the company all the time. But this is something we learn to live with and adapt to, and I think it's pretty incredible what we can achieve with a small number of people and with great tooling and technology. And that was me, and now let's welcome Agnieszka.
Hello, my name is Agnieszka, and I am a lead for the STEs that are located here in Odessa. Our software test engineers team is led by 2 people, like Kasper said, by Klaus, who is not here today, and myself. And we are a team of 12 testers. We are located across many offices. in Copenhagen, Odessa, Vilnius, Berlin, and Boston. But there are also people working from their own homes. And the main goal of our team would be to provide feedback to our developers in our research and development group about the quality of Unity, the quality of the product. So SDE is what you would call a manual tester. So we do spend substantial amount of time testing the product, and we do so from the very beginning, very early stages of development. So we actually get involved in early testing and feedback. We collaborate closely with developers on upcoming features. We do exploratory testing on new areas, new functionality of the software. We design and perform regression tests. So we do our own, we do the test suites, we do the test cases ourselves for the areas that we are responsible for. And then we run them as well. And we also perform smoke tests for builds that are about to be handed over to our alpha and beta users, and for the builds that are about to be released, published. So we do a lot of testing, we do a lot of manual testing, but it's all very well planned out, and it's done in a way that we can do it in a smart way, do it in an effective way, and throughout the whole development cycle we can support our developers with our testing activities. But we are not only manual testers. That's not the only thing that we do. As I said, we collaborate closely with developers. We stay in touch with them. We try to find out how we can help them to make the features better. We also create the test plans and test strategy for the areas of the software that we work on. And in that regard, we also cooperate with the SDETs on automating the functionality that can be automated. So in that way, we don't spend time manually testing functionality that could as well be handed off to automation. We also monitor alpha and beta groups. These are the groups of users, very specialized users who know a lot about Unity, and they give us constant feedback about the upcoming features. They give us feedback about the usability of those features and how, what do they expect and what they're getting. So by being active in those forums, we get a lot of valuable information about what our users, how do they receive what we are making for them, or what the developers are making for them. And having that knowledge gives us another opportunity to see the overview of our areas, the overview of the product, and helps us assess the quality or perceived quality of our users. And so by collaborating with developers, by collaborating with our SDETs, by keeping in touch with our users, we have a lot of information that we can put together and then be able to really assess the quality of the product, send a report to developers and tell them what is the status of the area. And that's what we are doing. We're trying to collect information and share the knowledge across the research and development group and QA group. And finally, because the SDE team is a group of very passionate people, as the rest of our QA group really, but we see testing as a craft, and we try to expand our toolbox. So we go to a lot of testing courses, we go to conferences, we try to expand our knowledge of testing skills, and yes, make everything so that we can contribute to the quality of the product. So that's how I would describe our team. And that was all from me. If you have any questions to any of us, you can say so now.
You should ask. Not can, but should. If you can ask in English, then you can ask in Russian, I will translate.
Yes. Is there examples of using Unity not just for games, but some other kind of apps?
Yes, plenty. Yes, there are. I think we have quite a few. I think the most successful platform, if you think about non-game applications, is probably the web player. So you can. It doesn't have to be a game that you make in Unity. It's just designed for making games. So the workflow in Unity means that it's very easy to work with components. So it's very easy to create pieces of functionality that you can reuse, that you can share, and everything is driven by data. And that just tends to be what you want when you make games. But yes, I think we have architectural companies that use it for visualizations. Then they can make it in Unity and they can publish it in a web player. So that is basically a 3D application running in the browser.
We have like
NASA, yes,
yeah.
the Mars.
NASA is using it for Mars
Yes.
rover, architecture companies for architecture visualization, movie producing companies in Hollywood for setting up their cameras and shots before they actually try to shoot anything. Gambling,
Yes.
huge installations in museums and whatnot. In car software, in the army is using it for training and simulation of fights and.
So Unity, I mean, if you didn't try Unity, the concept of working in Unity is actually very simple. So everything is scene driven. So you can create a scene, and the scene is just a placeholder for content. So then you can have assets and you can have code. And then you can basically make small building blocks that you put into your scene, and then you can load and unload scenes, and a scene will then be assets and code that interact in different interesting ways. So it's designed for games, but you can create many other things. And Unity is actually great for both 2D and 3D. It supports both really well. So yes, there are many other applications than games out there. And again, I mean, I often get asked by this, are you a game development company? And Unity is not. I think we are much closer to... so what we do is we make a tool where you can create content and then you can compile it, you can build it to different platforms. So in that sense, we are much more a tooling company. We're not really a game development company. And we are growing really fast, and the amount of build and test configurations we have is just, I mean, that's a hard problem to solve. And in order for us to scale, in order for us to continuously grow, that is just something we need to work hard on. And that is also why we need to be smart about testing.
Who are the main Unity competitors?
Epic.
Yeah, probably Epic in terms of games. It's hard to say actually. I think there are a few. Before we got Unity 2D, so Unity 2D came out last year, there were probably some 2D engines that were big competitors. Right now, yes, it's probably it. But, I mean, having competitors also mean that you need to be on your toes, right? You need to constantly look out for ways to be faster, better, smarter, improve everything. So,
It's quite healthy.
that's the way it is, but that's given, we can't change that. Yes.
Could you name some third-party tools that you use if you're testing, for example, to get code coverage or
Yes.
performance testing? Something.
Yes, I do that. For code coverage, right now we have set up a solution for code coverage on C++ code. We use a tool called Bullseye coverage for that, which our code base is quite big. I think the parts of it that we are doing code coverage on is in the order of million lines of code, and it works well. The way it works is that we run the preprocessor and then we instrument the code. So we insert small pieces of code every time there's a branch in the source code, and then you can either do automated testing or you can do manual testing, and then you can basically extract data about exactly which parts of the code paths were hit. but we use bullseye coverage for that. Another random example for manual testing, for example, I mean, as you mentioned, we pretty much see testing as a toolbox, so we have a great mix of different test methodologies. We have manual testing, we have automated testing, we have structured testing, we have exploratory testing. For structured testing, we have a test case system called Geometry that we use. For communication, we use a tool called Confluence. Our bug reporter, we use a tool called Fogbox. For performance testing, that's something we have developed ourselves.
So most
Quite a few different tools.
Yes.
And what about virtualization? Do you use some VMware to run this test? Or?
Oh, that's yes, we do. Our build and infrastructure team would know much more about that. I think when we run, for example, test automation and builds on Mac, I think we use something called Parallels. Yes, our build farm and our test infrastructure use virtual machines. Yes. Yes. Yes.
What is company business model?
The company's business model, that's a good question. I think, I mean, at the core, we are still making a tool for game development. Our motto, or like how we brand ourselves, is that we want to democratize game development. So when Unity entered the game development scene, when Unity started making tools for game developers, I think you couldn't find a good game development tool on this side of maybe $1 million. I mean, making games using good tools was an expensive thing to do. So it has been all about democratizing game development in different ways. I think you can see it in some of the other things we're doing that I showed you, right, with the asset store, actually providing a channel where game makers can get content. People that can't program, they can actually go in and buy code. People that are not artists can go in and buy graphics assets or sounds. Game publishing, actually finding interesting projects made by maybe small studios and actually getting them out there for fast and for few money. So Unity has always been about the success of our users and finding ways of making it possible for users to do something they couldn't do before. I know it's a bit, it's not very specific, but we do so many things, and we have done so many things in a very, very short amount of time. And some of the things we're doing right now that we are trying out, I'm not even sure I know about all of that. But at the heart of it all, it has been about democratizing game development and enabling people to do something, our customers and our users to do something that they weren't able to do. So where now we talked about Epic before, right? Where some of our competitors, they have had very expensive products where they needed to sell maybe a few licenses to very big customers. We've always had a product that was essentially free, and people could pay for it if they wanted to. And that has always driven us to, I mean, we need to make something that is good enough that the people that get Unity for free actually want to pay for something. So we can't just survive. We need to have a lot of customers that are happy enough with our product that they actually want more, want to pay for it. I hope that answered your question. Somewhat.
Yes,
We have a subscription now from last year. I think that we have a subscription that you can not buy a license but lease it.
Yes, so until last year you would actually buy like a major version of Unity and then you would get updates for free. Now we have a subscription-based model where you pay something every month and then you will just continuously receive updates with new features.
Excuse me, how does Unity cooperate with platform developers? For example, we had some problems with iOS 7.
With
iOS 7.
Yes.
How do we cooperate with platform developers?
So are you thinking about the platform developers that are working at Unity, or in the case of iOS 7, platform developers working at Apple?
Yeah.
I mean, that very much depends on the platform. That's case by case. I'm not sure how it works with Apple. That is our Apple team that knows much more about that than I do. I can tell you, with Google, we're doing what I told you, that we're actually sharing test suites and trying to be proactive, so we're fixing problems before they hit our users and customers. So in the specific case of iOS and iOS 7, I can't tell you that. But we are working directly with platform developers in different ways. But it is case by case, and the way Unity is organized, we have people that are dedicated platform developers, and they are typically the ones that have a relationship with the platform developers at Apple or Google or other places, and we work directly with them. Yes. Anything else?
Okay.
All right.
Do you practice pair programming or Scrum iterations?
Scrum iterations. Let's start with pair programming. Yes, pair programming, code reviews, clean code. I think I can speak for my team, right? We do a pretty good job with dependencies and writing clean code. Nothing enters our main line without someone else having looked at it. So there's no code that you can't touch, but you need to actually discuss what you're doing with other people. Some people like to pair program. We don't force it. We don't have any strict rules. A lot of people like to do it. If they don't like to pair program, they are required to do code reviews. Scrum iterations. Let me put it this way: that Unity is many different teams working from many different places and doing things in different ways. So I think if you look at my team, we are inspired by Agile. So we use things that make sense for us, but it depends on the project we're working on. Some of it is a specific project, like we're working on a new bug reporter right now. I think it fits well to that. We have other tasks that are more ongoing. Maybe it would be closer to like a DevOps task where we need to keep our test automation running on our build infrastructure and our test infrastructure. There are other ones that fit that better, I think. So it is up to each team what they will do, what practice they want to follow. And then I think for the company as a whole, we are still to some extent driven by milestones. So it is a phase model we're using there. So I think there are things going on at like a micro level in the teams, and then we have things going on at a macro level where we sort of need to synchronize everything. But overall, teams have and individuals have a lot of freedom to decide where they want to work and how they want to work. Of course, we try to do it in ways where we get insight into, is this working? And if it's not working, if it's slowing us down, if it's slowing other people down, then we actually need to go back, reiterate, fix it, and then try something else. So yeah, again, I think we try to do different things. We are not really sticking to one school of doing things, or that's not what we do. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Anything else? Then I think we should move ahead to say something about conference. It was good. It was fun. A lot of interesting people showed up, and it was nice to talk to them and also hang out a bit afterwards and get to know them better. So really good time, and I would be happy to come and do it another time.
We got a lot of questions, which was surprising. I don't remember what's the number.
It was a very interesting event. It looks like IT crowd in Odessa is very interested in both Unity and Cyclone. So we were happy to see so many people come and listen to our presentation about testing tools we were using and our QA group. And yeah, I was really happy to see so many people and hear so many questions asked, and it seemed like everyone was very interested in this. So we're looking forward to coming in Odessa again and maybe doing it again at another time in the future. Yeah.